my stamping friends, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make some cards with very little stamping. It's going to be all about the designer series paper, but I think you're going to be surprised. It's different than anything that I've ever done before. And I'm a little nervous. I haven't pre-made them. So we're going to design on the fly, I think I'm going to call it. Now, quickly, before I flip the camera down, because I'm really anxious to get into making these cards with you. Remember, there will be a blog post that will go with this, and I'll have pictures of these cards on that blog post, and it'll give you the dimensions and a list of all the products that I'm using. You'll find the link to the blog post in the description. It should be right down there depending on your device. The description of the video will have that link take you over there. Now, when you're on the blog post, you can also request a catalog if you'd like a Stampin' Up! Catalog and place an order for Stampin' Up! Products. If you do that and you select me to be your demonstrator, make sure you use my host code so that you can earn points towards a free stamp set. I love giving my stampers free stamp set. Every time you order at least $50 and use the host code, you get a point. Get 5 points and you can select a stamp set of your choice. Read about it over on the blog. And also, I have a VIP newsletter that I send out every month to everybody that orders. And in that newsletter, there's always an exclusive tutorial with super fun projects that just my VIP stampers get. So make sure you place an order this month because you're gonna like the tutorial, I promise. Okay, are you ready to dive into the cards? Let's flip the camera down and let's get to work. Hang on. Well, are you ready to have some fun with the Happiness Abounds suite? Now, this is going to be completely different projects than you typically get from me because I haven't pre-made them. Usually when I'm doing a video, I make them first and then get all the supplies and remake them on video. But we're going to create on the fly as we're doing it today. So fingers crossed this works. Now, before we start that, I want to just show you a few things. And then I did some pre-work here, which I'll explain in a second. This paper, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Look at these flowers. Now, it's double-sided, just like we're used to with our designer series paper. But the two pieces I really want to show you are these two, because they are set up so that the dies, let's see, I have them hidden here. I have so much stuff here. The dies actually will fit all of these images. You spin them around, find the right way. But all these big flowers, these leaves, these, all of them, all have dies. So you can either stamp and use the dies, or you can die cut these sheets. Now, when you get a pack of paper, you get 2 of each. So you'll have 2 of these, 2 of these. So that is a ton of flowers and leaves that you can cut out to create with. And then if we flip that, you'll see the back has some smaller prints and then some great, I guess that's more of an acrylic painted look. So we'll just see, those could be great. I mean, it doesn't have to be used with just flower type things. So we have all of that. Now, like I said, I did some pre-work. So I took, I don't know, maybe a half a sheet, if even that much. And you can see all my little scraps here. I cut out all the flowers and the leaves that I could with the dies. So here's just kind of a partial pile here. You'll see all these pieces. And you can see even sometimes if the piece is on the edge, you can cut it off because you'll be able to use it on the edge of a piece of cardstock. So here's another edge one. But I just sat here with my die cutting machine and I cut all of these. We're going to push this aside. And then I also took the greetings that were in that stamp set and I pre-did some pieces with those as well. I did some circles. I embossed some on some cardstock. So I just had a pile of all the die cut pieces with the words on them. And then I decided it's time to start creating. So I somewhat sorted out the pieces to try to come up with 4 different cards on video here for you guys. So, I mean, totally, I have not put these together. I'm just thinking it's going to work. So let's hope these look really cute like I'm anticipating. So, like I said, I sorted them, just divided them out here. So I used, what are they called? Stylish Shapes. It's one of the new die sets. So again, I am not completely familiar with all this new stuff. So what I did is I cut out the one square here and I used, all the greetings are from the coordinating stamp set. So the only stamping here is going to be the greetings. And then we're going to use all these cutout pieces and a bunch of dies because we like dies, right? And let's see what we can do, or yeah, the dies and then dimensionals. So like I said, I have not made this before, so I'm just going to kind of wing it here, and we're going to see what my vision comes out to be. Like I said, I kind of sorted the pieces thinking, well, these, see, that's going to hang over. That's okay. It'll work when we put it on the other one. See how these pieces just go together. And you know, there are so many, like I said, I cut out maybe a half sheet. So there's just a ton of flowers that you can do. Now you could, if you don't have the dies, you could just buy this designer series paper and hand cut it. I know a lot of you like to fussy cut. And you know, since I die cut so much, it did take me quite a while. You could easily probably just grab your scissors and trim a bunch of these. So you can see I'm just building our little focal point here. Oh, that one's big enough. We could use big ones on here. So you are wonderful in every way. Let's see, trying to just build these around those words so we can still see our greeting. Let's see, do we want one more in there? Yeah, I think so. I like lots of greenery with my flowers. So we still want to see the stitching. Stick it. There we go. Okay, so you can see where I just took flowers, and we're going to go ahead and stick this onto our card here. I think we're going to use more dimensionals. You know, I use lots and lots of dimensionals. But like I said, I think part of the fun of this project, I hope we'll see how it turns out, is I just have this big old pile that I put all these pieces together. Or I cut all these pieces out, and then I'm like, okay, let's start creating. So you are wonderful in every way. And you know what? Let's add happy birthday to this one. You know, when I was doing all the greetings, I'm like, well, let's just emboss some of them and do some right on our white. So I'm going to stick, let's try to center it. There we go. Okay, so there is, we're going to call this creating on the fly because I don't do that very often. Kind of like it. So there's our first card. Now for the second one here, again, I have a pile, so we'll see what we can do with our pile. This little die is one of the ones in the set. So it looks like it's that torn out, and I'm kind of feeling like we need to just, you know, rough that up a little bit because, you know, if I tore this out of a little notebook, it wouldn't look so nice and tidy. So let's kind of distress it a little bit with our fingers. There we go. That's what we wanted. Okay. And since I put the grading on that way, I guess it's going to have to go that way. So let's just stick that on here. And I think, oh, it's a different greeting. Wishing you all the happiness. Now here is an instance where here's one of the flowers that I did die cut off the edge of the sheet. So you know, we can still use it. All we need to do on this one is just make sure we put it along the edge of our layer, and it will work just fine and dandy. So what do we want? Let's stick it right there along that edge. And then I think we're going to use a lot more of these big ones here. So let's put the big ones on here. So, you know, Stampin' Up! Has done this before where they've had designer series paper with coordinating dies, and I've never really done much with them. But this time I saw these flowers and I'm like, ooh, I think this will be really fun to work with. And so far, I think I'm liking it. So let's do that and stick a couple leaves. But you know, this would be a great project that if you wanted to just sit and stamp out, or not stamp, but cut out a bunch of pieces like I did, either with dies or scissors, and then grab yourself some coordinating cardstock and just start putting them together. So let's see. We could add more pieces than what I have here. Like I said, I just kind of went through and designated some for that. So there we go. So wishing you all the happiness. Now I do still have the congratulations, which, you know what, let's stick that on there as well, because I think I like kind of having the two different kinds of words. We're going to glue that flat down there. There we go. Okay, there's card number 2. What do you think? Are we doing okay for kind of winging it as we go? So there's our first 2. Now, because I wanted to show you all the different dyes, so for this one, I took a piece of basic white here. I'm still losing some pieces. And there's this, I don't know, background dye, I think we'll call it. And it just cuts out that, I don't know what you want to call it, design. But I could have sat and punched all these pieces out, made sure they all fell out. But I kind of like the look of leaving a few of them in there. And actually, as I look at this closer now, some of them are designed to not necessarily even come out. And I think you could kind of pop them up a little bit for a little bit of texture. But I like some out, some in. So we're going to go with it. So let's just go ahead and glue this all down. We're using Melon Mambo. Yeah. On here. And I just cut myself a couple of card bases that coordinated with our colors of our flowers. Now, speaking of colors of flowers, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but over on my website, underneath, I think it says start here or something like that, I have a resource section. And one of it is color charts. And I have a chart there that you can download for free and print it out that gives you all the colors of all the different designer series papers in our current catalog. So I know this is Melon Mambo. I couldn't even tell you what colors are all in this paper without looking at my chart. I use it all the time when I'm creating, but make sure you go over there and grab that. You will find the link in the description of this video to take you over to the website, and you can get that download. And there's also just a color chart for all Stampin' Up! Colors on that same page. So all kinds of good little resources to help you. Oh, and there's a color coach as well. The other thing you'll find, use that link in the video description, and I will have pictures of these cards. So there'll be a blog post. It'll list out all of the products that I'm using today, and then pictures of these cards, and I'll give you all the measurements for like the base and the different layers that I used. So if you want to get this beautiful paper and recreate these cards, just look at my samples. Cut your pieces, and like I said, you can see here where I'm just sticking these in here. Let's do one more green on this one. But I had all the pieces, and we're just putting together. Ooh, I love those colors. And then let's put the sending thanks on here. Now, because it's going to overlap, this is not raised, but this one is, I'm going to just put dimensionals over here on that right-hand side. Otherwise, it's going to be a little crooked. And we'll put it about right there. There we go. Okay, card number 3. And since we have pieces here, let's do one more. So this is another one of those edge dies that came as part of that set. Oop, I had a little boo-boo on that paper. We'll make sure to cover it up. Or we flip, no, we're gonna go that way. So with this one, I just cut a piece again. We're gonna adhere that down. And notice how when I sorted out these flowers, so I wasn't digging through them on camera, I kind of sorted by colors. Now you'll see here, see the little edge? Because this must have been the edge of a piece of paper. So you'd probably not even notice this one, but I do want to make sure that I stick it on an edge or hide it underneath the same. Oh, it looks like we have all edge pieces here. Okay, now we got to think and plan. So if we want to cover up that boo-boo, so let's stick that one right there. This one's missing an edge too. So we can either stick it under, or let's stick this one, and maybe to get a little bit of dimension, let's use adhesive. We're going to tuck it under there, and we'll stick it right down even with that white. Okay, so looks like it's purposeful, you know, it wasn't the edge of a piece of designer series paper. And you know what? I'm having fun here. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I think this is something I could totally have a huge pile of these pieces and sit here and create. So if you pick up this designer series paper and kind of do what I'm doing, I would love to see what you create with all these pieces, because I think the ideas could be absolutely endless as far as how you put all these flowers together. So let's see. Oh, sometimes I think we overthink it. Like, should we put it here? Should we put it there? And then this one, we're going to do best wishes. And this might need our minis. You guys, can you see all the dimensional pieces? They are all over my table. So let's, again, we're just going on the right-hand side because we're going to overlap our flower. Now you could jazz these up just a little bit if you wanted to. You could add some ribbon, you could add some embellishments, but I decided to keep them real simple, just using all of these die-cut pieces and the greetings. So we've used the black and white embossing, because you all know I like to do that. Let's clean this out so you can see all of them. And there you go. 4 quick and easy cards. The only stamping is the greetings. So again, you could just get that designer series paper and hand cut all of these. And if you didn't have this stamp set, you could use any greetings. So I hope you enjoyed this. Completely different. I didn't stamp on camera. I pre-stamped that. But I love this paper. So I hope you do too. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. Email me, leave me a comment. We're here to answer your questions. And again, check out the blog post that goes with this. You'll find the picture. You'll find the list of all the products I used today. And if you'd like to order any of these, make sure you use my host code so that you can earn points towards a free stamp set. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be stamping again real soon. Have a stamp happy day.